The Lions roll right into the third round and a rematch. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Small Town Society Franklin Football Show, right here on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. As Franklin dispatches of upstart Shepherd last week, move on to the third round to take on Little River Academy, who again shocked the 3A world. Well, didn't shock Grant and I. We actually picked them to win that first game against Hitchcock. And then last week, and I thought what was like the perfect opportunity to be a trap game. You see that all the time. A good team upsets what's considered a better team. And then that next week, they get beat by the same type of team because Diboll was kind of like Little River Academy. Really solid, really good. Had a couple games where they didn't play well and they had a loss. And that's both of those teams mirrored each other in that way, not necessarily their styles. Even though, man, Little River Academy, man, they're physical. I think they're way more physical than people think of. You always think of the quarterback, but you forget that running back and you forget that offensive line. But them beating Diboll last week, I was impressed with that, scoring 36 against a really good Diboll defense. So we get that rematch, we get that game, and it's not only just a rematch, it's a rematch from the very last game of the year. That was the game I was supposed to be going down with Grant, and I got sick. And you still hear it, man. I tell you what, I'd never had bronchitis before. I've had colds. Man, bronchitis, I did not realize how long that stuff will linger in your just with the cough and just not quite feeling right each day. But I am getting better, and I do appreciate a couple Franklin people actually emailed me that and asked that. Walter did too. I appreciate that. But anyway, so you're getting that rematch, and it's also just 3 weeks ago. Now, I think for Franklin, what bodes well is I just don't think this is a good matchup for Little River Academy. And I think we saw that in that first game. That the score is way closer than the actual game was. But, as Coach will say, it's really, really tough to beat a good team 2 times in a season. And you almost feel, oddly enough, that when you're the winner of the game and then you play them the second time, you almost feel like they hold all the cards. Because their adjustments will decide what's going to happen in this game. And Coach and I were joking, and then for Franklin, you beat Little River Academy, and if Lorena beats Columbus, boy, that is going to be a heck of a game. By the way, check out Sideline to Sideline, the Class 3A show. We break down every game that's left, all the playoff games of the region semifinals for Division I and Division II on YouTube at L4 Media. Or you can go to our podcast website, S2SGrantandTerry.com, and we're also on all major podcast platforms. But for Franklin, if they win and Lorena wins, well, then Franklin is in Little River Academy's position where they hold all the cards. It's going to be a fun weekend of football no matter what. And we, of course, are going to be talking to the head coach of Franklin, Coach Mark Fannin. In fact, let's do that now. Well, after the break. Right here on the Franklin Football Show, brought to you by Small Town Society on S2S Sports. Are you an athletic director or coach looking to make your locker room pop, looking to refresh your look, looking to redo your brand? Well, check out SI Design and Printing. They're going to transform your sports organization athletic facilities into what you're looking for by enhancing the student-athlete experience, boasting the brand, and honoring your past. They do that with banners, backlit signage, locker graphics, window graphics, fence mesh graphic designs, and so much more. If you need a refresh, SI Design is going to help you do that. Check them out online, sidesign.net. And hey, if you're a parent or a grandparent, they've got something for you as well, as SI Design is the leading provider of custom sports prints. They offer a variety of products, including posters, banners, canvases, and more. All you have to do is upload your high-quality studio or action shot, and SI Design will create the memory for you. For more information, all you have to do is go to their website, sidesign.net/sports prints, and you'll get all the information that you need. You can also find them on Facebook. Just type in SI Design and Printing. Give them a call, 254-405-9492, or you can email them, info@sidesign.net, and tell Kyle that Sideline to Sideline sent. Terry Bennett back here on the Small Town Society Franklin Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Lions, Coach Mark Fannin. And, Coach, we talked about it last week. We thought Shepherd would try to come out and play keep away. They did for a little bit, but y'all were able to stop them and get the big win. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought we played a good game last Friday. Shepherd came out playing hard with high effort like we expected them to do. Running a similar offense to what we run. It took us a little bit on defensively. It took us about a drive to kind of get locked in and play with our eyes and all the misdirection stuff they were doing. And playing an offense like that, you got to kind of settle in and you got to settle in and to be able to play disciplined football. And finally, by that second series, we kind of settled in and kind of caught up with the pace of their offense and started playing really well. Offensively, we did. We were clicking on all cylinders from the very first whistle to the last whistle, I was proud of how our guys came out and played.
For all the talk of what Jaden Jackson is, and he's an absolute beast, your offense is at its best when you can have, as I like to call, a bevy of backs. And that's what y'all been doing in the playoffs. Y'all are having 3, 4, 5, 6 options. How does that help your offense go?
It definitely helps. Defenses can't really key in on one back and kind of prepare for that one back all week long. They got to prepare for several. And we're very fortunate to have 6, 7 guys that can carry the football right now at any time, and I feel comfortable giving it to any of those guys. And it keeps them fresh. And when you're able to do that, and we're fortunate enough to have those guys in the backfield to do that, and it's been fun to watch these guys run the football.
Well, you and I said it all the way back at coaching school, right when we were about to interview. I just kind of talked to you about the district, and you said, the team that you think was going to surprise everybody was Little River Academy. They did that. Here we are, a rematch from just, 3 weeks ago. I'll ask you again, what are your thoughts when you see the Bumblebees on film?
Yeah, they're talented, Terry. I knew going in this year that they were going to be a pretty talented team. Had a lot of returners, a lot of these seniors that played 2 years ago, 3 or 4 rounds, and they're healthy now and playing really good football. They beat 2 really good football teams in the playoffs with Hitchcock and Dieball. Offensively with that quarterback, he's one of the best around in my opinion. He's just a competitor. He can throw it, he can run it. He gives a lot of defensive trouble. Along with the running back and a couple receivers they got also, so they're big up front. Their offensive line is big and physical, so we're going to have to match that physicality. And I tell these guys all week, that it's anything can happen in the playoffs. You better come out ready to play. You can't come out half cocked. I'm not a real big fan of playing teams twice, just because of that. Especially when you're on the winning side of it. Because these kids can get complacent and. They're kids, high school kids. So that's been my message to them all week long is they better lock in and settle in because they're playing a really good football team Friday night, and I don't want it to be their last one. So we've had a really good week of practice. It's a blessing to be playing over Thanksgiving holidays anytime in Texas. When you're playing high school football over Thanksgiving, it's a real nice thing to do, and we're very fortunate to still be here and still be playing.
And what do y'all do on Thanksgiving? Do y'all have a morning practice? Do y'all do any kind of special meals? What is Franklin's Thanksgiving Day for the Lions?
Yeah, on Monday this week we practiced in the morning at 9 o'clock. Yesterday we had a community night practice where we turned on the lights and the fans came out and watched us practice last night under the lights. Kind of just a different routine, for these guys, and the community came out and got to watch a little practice how we operate. And this morning we practiced at 9, and over Thanksgiving on Thursday I'll bring them up at 9 also.
Well, and you talk about that community thing, and again, we've said this so many times. At Franklin, it's a little different, and it's things like that. It's allowing your players to remind them who they're playing for, but also for your fans to remind you, hey, these are high school kids, trying to make this town proud.
Absolutely, we're blessed with a great community. I've talked to you about this several times. We got a community that is very, very supportive and loves high school football and loves Franklin football. And we're blessed to have that here in Franklin, and hopefully we can go put on a good show for them Friday night.
For you personally, to be in Franklin as the Franklin head coach, practicing once again on Thanksgiving, something that y'all have now made a tradition over years now, what does that mean to you personally?
It means a lot, Terry. I've said this several times. I'm blessed to be here in Franklin and have this opportunity. I'm surrounded by great coaches. That's what it takes. You got to surround yourself around with good people, and I've said this word blessed several times in this interview, but I'm very blessed to be surrounded around great coaches that love their job and know the importance of doing the right things. And it's just something that we take a lot of pride here. And also the kids. These kids they're special here in Franklin. I know every coach says that about their own kids, but I truly believe that these guys here in Franklin are one of a kind. And go back to this community, that the support that we have here, and here in Franklin, it's a pretty special place. So I couldn't be more happy for this town and this team, and to be able to do this for them.
Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. As always, we want to thank the head coach, Mark Fannin, for joining us here, especially this week, because as much as I love this week, as I was saying, it's hard to schedule some of these coaches because of the different times that they have forward this week. And I do appreciate him taking the time out to have this show and doing it every week that he's done it. I like this matchup. I think Franklin's going to win comfortably. I'm so excited for next week. And it doesn't even matter who it is. Even if, and I know as a Franklin fan, you wouldn't care as much, but even if Little River Academy would pull off the upset, them versus Lorena or them versus Columbus, that's going to be fun. If it's Franklin, like I think it will be, them versus Lorena or them versus Columbus, that will be fun. Columbus, man, for all the talk of Franklin and Lorena and all that, Columbus just keeps on being amazing each week. They are so good. You saw it last year, Franklin needing to pull it out late with the field goal to win 24-21, and Columbus is better this year. Columbus is more physical this year. I think that playoff run for them last year showed them, beating Lorena in the first round and then hanging with Franklin in the region final. I think that showed them how physicality will work for them. And that's what they've done this year. And that's what they did to Hitchcock. And that's why I knew Little River Academy I thought could beat Hitchcock, was because how Columbus just rolled all over them. Either way, it's going to be a fun week next week, but we've still got to worry about this week. If you're going to the game or you're traveling for Thanksgiving, please be safe, have fun, enjoy the Thanksgiving food, the Thanksgiving fellowship with family, and all the football. And let's meet back here next week on the Franklin Football Show, brought to you by Small Town Society on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media.